Thank you. Tell your teacher. Listen to directions. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone this evening on this spectacular October evening. So I know it's hard to be out, inside when you know this is the end. So I appreciate it. But I am not surprised because we were all here this evening in celebration. This is an artist reception and an opening reception. The exhibition has been on display for several weeks. But an artist reception for one of, I think, the region's most beloved artists. Go ahead and sit down, Mohammed, because he's also just such a terrific human being. So we are really excited to have people here today. Those of you that know Mohammed know he is very shy. So I will speak, he's going to speak too, but I will say all the wonderful things about him that he is not inclined to say for himself. Come on, Claudia, can you take a step up? I see people still trying to get in. So thank you all again. For those of you who don't know, I am Shirley Verico. I am the curator and director of visual arts here at Buffalo Art Studios. We are a 20,000 square foot not-for-profit art center, and we have a three-pronged mission. We provide safe and affordable studio space for working artists. Can I just ask if the studio artists here today can raise their hands? Mohammed is one. We have 3, 4, 5, 6. It's an important part of our mission, and I'm saying a little bit more than I usually do because Mohammed is a studio artist here. And it's been wonderful to watch him learn and grow and share his talent with us and with the colleagues here in the studios. So we also have a vibrant education program. We are finishing up our fall session. We'll be getting ready to post our winter classes in just a few weeks. Oh, and also back to studio artists. On Saturday, December 2nd, we have our studio artist show and sale. Many of the 30 studio artists that make their work here will be in their studios. We'll have their artwork on display and for sale. And it is the one time a year, if you buy something, you can take it home and give it as a gift. So please come back. It's really a fun party. And then lastly, we have our exhibition spaces, and we are committed to contemporary artists that are dealing with contemporary issues, and Mohammed is certainly a perfect example of that. Our programming tonight is funded by M&T Bank, and thank you to M&T Bank for being such a generous sponsor to our Fourth Fridays. It means a lot to us. It allows us to stay open late. It allows us to throw great parties. And that M&T funding allows us to pay artists, and that's a big part of what we believe in here. It's one thing to provide safe and affordable studio space, but we also want to pay our working artists. And so that's a big part. So thank you, M&T Bank. Thank you to the New York State Council for the Arts. They fund Buffalo Art Studios through a grant for organizations, but they also had a wonderful program these last few years which was support directly to visual artists, and Mohammed is one of those recipients, and this exhibition here today is part of that. I also want to thank the Oshai Foundation, Community Foundation, New York State Council for the Arts. I'm going down the list in my head. Cameron James Baird. I'm like, there's one missing. There's one missing, so I want to thank them as well. So yes, thank you all for coming tonight. As I said, we have Mohammed here. If you are interested in purchasing any of this work, I'm going to direct you to the front of the gallery. Lauren or myself will be sitting there, and we can handle the sale. And then he also has work back in his studio. The same thing, if you're interested in purchasing anything, you can come and see us. So I am going to, can you see him in the video, Lauren? Okay, I'm going to hand the microphone over to really just one of the nicest people I think I've ever met, and I just wish only the best for Mohammed, and I am just so happy that we were able to exhibit his work here. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Mohammed.
Thank you so much, Shirley. First and foremost, thank you everyone for being here. It's amazing to see so many people here for my work. And also, I just wanted to take some time and thank ASI and NESCA for supporting us for this exhibition. And people who are old friends, they know I usually do a lot better with questions and answers. But I will just explain my work a little bit, and from there we can, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. My work involves lettering from 3 different languages: English, Arabic, and Bangla. And essentially what I have done is just taken the letters from those languages and kind of broke them down and recreated my own script, which is not readable. But when you look at the work, idea is to see resemblance of the letters from those 3 languages. And somehow, for whatever reason, those 3 languages are part of my life. I am from Bangladesh, and I think this is probably the first time I have seen Bangladeshi people visiting Buffalo Studio, which makes me really proud because I've been here since 2016. It's very hard to get our community to visit art functions. I have tried. I am from Bangladesh and grew up in Buffalo since I was 11 years old and learned English, I don't know in how many years, who knows. And Arabic because of my religion, and that becomes part of you when you practice it for your prayers and religious obligations and stuff like that. So I mix those 3 languages. They are part of my life and work. And the idea is to really somehow bring those 3 group of people together. We have different ideas of how we should live, and we have different religions most of the time, and we come from different backgrounds, but I wanted to create something that was beautiful and where we didn't have any sort of clash, and something that we could all agree on and appreciate. And that's where the art and calligraphy and calligraphy came from. And I think I will stop here, and if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Did somebody have a question? I'm sorry. Yeah, Jim.
I love your titles. Where do those come from? Does that come? Do you think of the title first and create a work that reflects that title, or do you take it after you created the work? Do you take a step back and then say the title?
So,
and then this part 2 is then: are there any of the lettering that corresponds to the title in any way?
So title, so there's 2 different types of, well, I guess many different types of work that an artist makes. For me, there are ones that like, I'm painting with a higher purpose, something that's meaningful, something that matters, not just for the sake of joy. Well, joy is also important, but I feel like there's other stuff that are a lot more important than my smile and joy. So the title does come first, before everything else, before choosing colors, before choosing canvas or wood or whatever paint surface that I'm supposed to paint on. Title comes first. Title comes first, and title stays with me for at least a couple of weeks to really, it needs to stay in my mind. It needs to bother me. It needs to make sure, it needs to be important to me. Then you decide what to paint and how big it's supposed to be and the colors to choose. And usually the title gets repeated over and over within the layers.
Do you write your own?
No, I'm not really good with poems. So initially I started to try, I tried to do calligraphy because I think when I was 16, 17, years old with a lot of rage and anger. Especially at that time, media was constantly throwing negative stuff about my religion, my culture, and immigrants and everyone else. And somehow everything that happened miles and thousands of miles away from Buffalo, somehow I had to take responsibility of that, and I had to say sorry for that. So I really wanted something positive from my community, and I think calligraphy is the first thing that really came to me where we all agreed on. Like it's and it's a tradition that's been passed along for almost thousands of years. Not thousands, sorry. Arabic got lettered in about 1400 years or so ago. So it's an ancient work that we preserved, and I tried to learn that, but there's no one here in Buffalo that I could go and learn from. So I was working with a professor at UB. He was also very busy, so he was checking my work, but every time I would make something, it would look beautiful, but he would say it's wrong because I didn't follow the calligraphy rules. Certain letters has to be certain millimeter long or whatever, inches long or whatever. Every letter has its own, size that you have to follow. Just because it looks nice, it doesn't mean it's correct in the calligraphy forms. And I got tired of it, and I stopped sending him emails, and I started to look into a lot of Middle Eastern graffiti artists and how they were able to write the same Arabic language, but like in a very abstract form. I started doing that. From there, I met Al Said. He's a French-Tunisian graffiti artist, amazing person. I found out that he's coming to New York to paint a mural in Coney Island. I lied at my work at that time and just drove to New York and met him, and he's like, hey, maybe you're having difficulty finding your audience because like you're this mix of cultures that makes you. So maybe try something with Bangla. So when I came back from New York, I decided that I am from Bangladesh, but Bangla is not my only language, or like I don't only identify as Bangladeshi person. I'm kind of mixed with all three, so I mixed them, and when I did that, it wasn't readable anyway. So I kind of decided to break them apart and remake them on my own. That for me, which look pleasing and look beautiful. That's how I came up with lettering.
Do you ever paint anything other than calligraphy?
So recently, I have started to paint solely for the purpose of joy, and without any rules, without any limitations, just because I wanted to make mark. It's something that I wanted to do. I needed to do, so I did them, and I made a lot of drawings. Those actually came from my son, who was I think 2 years old, and he was being fussy one day, and I gave him a couple of papers. It's like, take some pencils, leave me alone. So he did his marking. He made his marking, and as all 2 or 3 years old, he made his markings, and he went on and moved on to his next project. So I took those papers and kind of finished it off. And I'm like, hey, this is not lettering, but this is it made me very happy. So yes, I do other stuff in calligraphy as well, if that helps. So I think after receiving the support, I think there's a period of time last 8 to 9 months where I was able to really just play with different materials, different paints, different surfaces, and I chose to go with the colors or paint, which is a mixture of pigments, acrylic, and also a spray essentially they're similar to glitters, but they're a lot smaller. So they can like, go on top of each other, and that's how you get the color changes. Yes.
I've known Muhammad for about 8 years now, and that's the most I've ever heard him talk at one time. So I think, thank you, Muhammad, and I think that says something about how much you all mean to him. One of the things we talk a lot about here at Buffalo Art Studios is a community, and it's a place for connecting. So Muhammad, if you want to have a conversation, I really think that's literally what we need now more than ever, are conversations. So Muhammad is a little under the weather, so please bear with him if he gets a little fatigued. But please come on in and speak with Muhammad if you want to talk about the work. You know, we're all here. I'm really excited about this idea of people being able to come together and connect and have conversations over such spectacular artwork. So thank you again, Muhammad. Thank you again, New York State Council for the Arts, for supporting artists and artists like Muhammad. And thank you all for coming out on this spectacular, spectacular evening. And make sure you come back Saturday, December 2nd. We do have cards available if you need a little reminder. Thank you all. Get a drink, have some snacks, see all the work. Thank you.